For most real estate agents, they know prospecting is the fastest and most efficient way to reach their financial goals in real estate, yet they seem to not be able to do it. There's something holding them back. They have a fear. They think that they're no good at it, so the heck with it, I'm gonna try all these other shiny objects. Well, in today's video, I'm gonna share with you something that is gonna help you and every other real estate agent out there that is fearing prospecting, that has mental issues with prospecting. I'm gonna share with you how to make what seems to be this impossible task that so many of the real estate agents struggle with easy. So if there's anything that I mention in today's video that you say to yourself, wow, that makes a lot of sense, I'm gonna put a link beneath this video in the description. It'll allow you to set up a 30 to 45 minute coaching session with me or somebody from my team. We'll design an entire blueprint that can help you accomplish your goals through effective prospecting. And then we can talk about our lifetime training program and decide if it makes sense for you to join or not. So the first thing before we get started is we have to be patient. You see, one of the things I'm going to talk about in today's video is dopamine and understanding boredom. Well, for most of you, you can't get through a whole video that could potentially change your life because we're so distracted. We're so impatient that we want everything and we want it absolutely right now. I'm going to ask with absolute love and respect for you to be patient, to get through this entire video so that you can impact your life in a massive, massive way. So this entire conversation starts off with understanding the 4 stages that you and everybody needs to go through in order to master prospecting, to take this huge task of prospecting that so many of us fear, that so many of us have such a problem with. How do we make that thing easy? Number 1 is called unconscious incompetence. You see, you get excited when you watch videos of guys like me or people out there in the real estate industry absolutely crushing it, making $500, $700, $1 million or more selling real estate through prospecting. Okay, so you get very, very excited and you see these guys at the top of their mountain and that helps you get into action. Okay, this is called unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. All that you know at this stage is that you're excited. You start to plan out exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna plan out how much money I wanna make. I'm gonna plan out how many contacts I need to make per day. I've got all my lead sources. I've got my business plan, and you are excited. All that you're focused on is the result of making the money, of getting the watch, of getting the car, of whatever your goal is based on what you see out there, based on seeing other people succeed. You're looking across the river at the outcome, at the end result. This is the first stage that we all go through. This is what helps us get into action, okay? We don't know what we don't know at this time, okay? Stage number 2 is where we're gonna spend a little time today. And that stage is called consciously incompetent. This is where, for most of you, everything falls apart, okay? This is after you've started to prospect that you quickly find out how difficult it is and maybe how you're not good at it yet, okay? Everybody goes through this stage. This stage is also known as deception because you were very excited to start in stage 1. You saw the guy across the river. You saw the guy selling 100 homes a year through prospecting. Then you started to prospect and quickly you found out, wow, this is a lot harder than it looks. This is a lot harder than I gave credit for. And this is where an agent, just like yourself, gets into deception. They face flight or fight. They start to make decisions when emotion starts to creep in. This is where most agents quit. They say, to hell with that. I'm not gonna go through that much pain. There's gotta be an easier way. And this is where all the shiny objects come in. and get you off the hook from prospecting, because you say, well, I got all these other options that don't cause as much pain, Brandon. I know everybody that's succeeding is prospecting, but when I try to prospect, I don't get those same results, okay? So half the agents quit. They say, I'm not going to go through that much pain. I'm going to go try these other things. Well, in deception, we absolutely have to push through if we have any chance on mastering this prospecting. The question is, how do we push through? So I wrote down, number one, what I call the X method. The X method is something that studies have shown to be an amazing mindset hack to help you push through very, very hard things. And here's how it works. You're gonna have an actual physical piece of paper, okay? And it's gonna be a calendar, okay? So I want you to go on Google Images or Google and just print off a blank calendar. And every time you prospect or you hit your daily contact goal, I want you to give yourself a huge red X on that day. And the power of the X method is after you start accruing X after X after X, day after day, the pain of prospecting will go down because the pain of stopping and starting over will start to increase. That is the pain you want to have. That's the mindset trick. That's the first mindset trick to get you through deception. Once you start to accumulate 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 30 red X's in a row, you will not want to break your streak to start all over again. You and I both know that the one secret to success that you've heard time and time and time again, regardless of how many YouTube videos you watch, it always comes down to one thing, and everybody says it over and over again: consistency. Okay, so as you start to build up your consistency, it'll be more painful for you to break the streak than it will be for you to continue going with prospecting. So that's the first hack to get through stage 2. The other thing I'm going to help you to do to get through stage 2 is simple, hardcore accountability. There's no way around stage 2. Many people have tried to get around deception, to try to get around conscious incompetence. There is no way around it. So you have to push right through this stage of pain. So 1 is the X method, 2 is accountability. Go out into the marketplace. If you're one of our students in our training program, we help you with accountability partners, okay? Get somebody, you and somebody that's going through this together. Maybe there's 4 of you, maybe there's 6, maybe there's 8 of you, and you guys are gonna agree to do certain prospecting activities on a daily basis, and you guys are gonna hold each other accountable. Because here's what we know about accountability. Amazing, amazing things that humans will do for other people that we won't do for ourselves. It's unbelievable how this works. And so if you have an accountability group that you're part of, you will show up every day for them because you don't want to let them down. You don't want to be outside of integrity. You told Bob and Jill and Susie that you were going to show up in this accountability group every day and prospect for 60 minutes. Well, you don't want to let them down, so therefore you're going to show up. Therefore, you're showing up for yourself. Now, once you've been able to push through stage 2, or your conscious incompetence, now you're gonna get into stage 3, which is called consciously competent. This is where habits start to get formed. So what happens in stage 3, after you push through stage 2, you start to get some consistency. You start to say, okay, I'm getting some results. You're starting to set some appointments. You're starting to get some listings. Now your mindset shifts and you start to say, okay, I can do this. I can absolutely do this. Now I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Now that I've gone through deception, I didn't quit. I pushed through there. I used the Red X method and I used my accountability partners to help push through deception, push through stage 2. Now I'm starting to form a habit, okay? Now you still have to think about this. In stage 3, you haven't mastered this yet, okay? This is like riding the bike and you're wobbling a little bit back and forth, but you're still riding it. Little Johnny's doing backflips and he's jumping. You're not there yet. You're riding the bike, but you're still wobbling back and forth, but you can do it. You can absolutely ride the bike. That is stage 3. It is absolutely critical that in stage 3, you continue the consistent activities of prospecting every day, which will push you into stage 4. Stage 4 is what we call unconscious competence. It's like driving a car. Wherever you are watching this video today, if you drove there, you probably don't even remember the drive because you're so good at driving. Well, it's the same thing with prospecting. When I recite a script or when I respond to an objection, people that watch me on camera or people on my team say, "Man, how are you so smooth?" Well, in stage 4, it's unconscious. We don't have to think about it, okay? The most elite performers, regardless of industry, the Michael Jordans of the world, the Tiger Woods of the world, the Elon Musks of the world, whatever you would categorize as elite, they don't have to think about anything. When Michael Jordan got on that court, okay, he talks about it all the time, he didn't have to think at all. He just did, because his skills and his decision making were unconscious. He was so good at his craft. He spent so many years practicing his craft that he didn't have to think about it anymore, okay? Let me give you another example. If you've watched one of my favorite movies of all time, Top Gun, Maverick, it's a great scene in the movie. And he's in class and he's getting reprimanded for making bad decisions in flight training, okay, at Top Gun. And Maverick responds with, because the teacher at the time, Kelly McGillis, the woman who he falls in love with later, is reprimanding him. And she's like, "Maverick, what were you thinking?" And Tom Cruise responds with something I'll never ever forget. And it has to do with stage 4. And he says, "You see, if you think, you're dead."
You don't have time to think up there. If you think, you're dead.
There's no time to think. And the only way for you to get this good at prospecting, you have to go through all 4 stages. Stage 4 of unconscious competence only happens with repetition. Period. End of story. There is no other way around it, okay? You have to get reps. You have to practice a lot. Now, don't dismiss practice for being simple so it's not valuable. You have to absolutely get a role play partner that you role play with every single day. And you and your role play partner are making it so real that you can take on any prospect, anytime, anywhere in the world. One of the things I tell our students all the time is the learning is in the doing. Okay? So as you're prospecting every day, as you're accumulating your days of prospecting every single day, you are going to push through some of these uncertainties. You're going to start to build a skill set through practice and live repetition. Once you've got to that point, you don't fear prospecting anymore. You've handled every single situation. You've encountered every single objection. And at that point, when you're to stage 4, you start to master prospecting. So what's the point to all of this? The point is understanding the 4 stages of mastery and understanding where you're at and being honest with yourself about where you're at. Are you in unconscious incompetence, stage 1, where you're just so excited, you're sharing your business plan with everybody, you're screaming from the mountaintops, "Look what I'm gonna do." You haven't started yet because you're still releasing dopamine with your excitement. Are you in stage 2, where you're prospecting here or there and you know how hard it is, you're no good at it, and you are on the line of quitting versus pushing through? Know that that's okay and know that that's normal. Or if you push through deception, and are you in phase 3, where you're prospecting every day, you're still not great at it, okay, but you're doing it every single day, you are on your way to stage 4. Understanding where you're at, being honest about where you're at, and knowing that these 4 stages are absolutely normal. I'm hoping that this helps your mindset and that you know everybody, myself included, or anybody that's succeeding with prospecting has gone through these 4 stages. I hope that now you have clarity on what you need to do to push through. If you want help with this, you want to talk about having me as your mentor for the rest of your real estate career, there's a link beneath this video in the description. Let's jump on a simple call. We'll have an easy conversation and we'll talk about whether or not it makes sense for us to work together. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys in another video very soon.